Evil, true evil. The words come from Nazalus, a winged demon with wiry limbs and skin that looks of grey leather. His eyes are round balls of yellow with elliptical black pupils. Long bat-like ears stick up into the room, surrounding a patch of spiky green hair that is the colour of asparagus. A long and wrinkled nose, similar to that of an aardvark, sticks out over his chinless mouth. He reclines comfortably in an easy chair made of stone, its surface smooth but unpolished, his wings tucked neatly behind him. They took to place the credit and the blame on our shoulders, as if we're responsible for everything that goes wrong in their world. I find it quite fascinating. What's your take, Farron? I can see your point, mate, his partner agrees, washing down an excess of snack food with a low-sodium soda. At first glance, the demon appears to be a perfect circle, with no definable neck, shoulders or waist. His mouth stretches from ear to ear, his eyes unevenly placed on top of his head. Small red horns emerge just above his pointy ears. He drinks from a pewter goblet while sitting in his own recliner. I suppose it's easier for them to pass the buck and decline the responsibility, whatever makes them happy. I'm certainly not one to buck the system. That's a different conversation altogether. Perhaps a topic for tomorrow, if you're up to it. Perhaps. Farron scratches a jiggling globe of stomach with pudgy fingers attached to freakishly short arms. But no promises. Understanding that his partner's commitment to intellectual debate is questionable at best, Nazalus closes the door to heady conversation, tapping a foot repeatedly on the travertine floor. The steady rhythm works as a lullaby to Farron. He is nearly asleep when Nazalus sits upright, noticing the third member of their trio as he emerges from the south tunnel. "Oh, look, it's your brother, pacing the floor as usual, I see." "Quit taking a piss," Farron says, blinking heavy eyelids. He wipes his mouth before an ambitious yawn, shaking his cheeks for good measure. "If my gene pool was responsible for that, I would have eaten him centuries ago and spared my family the embarrassment." "Hello, Tucker!" Nazalus yells with enthusiasm, waving a limber arm back and forth. He draws the attention of the hell beast, doing his best to make contact with all three of his eyes. "Care to join us? We've been discussing the root of true evil, and it's not been a numismatic conversation." Tucker lumbers toward the two, his enormous body rippling with the strength of the underworld. "Always with the big words, aren't you, Naz?" Two ox-like horns emerge from his forehead. His wide and flat nose takes up the majority of his face. "You know I can't take a rest. I'm on call." "Bloody hell," Farron belches with a wide mouth. "Will you sit down for his sake? You're making me dizzy." "On call?" Nazalus muses. "What a joke that's become." "I wouldn't let him hear you say that," Tucker warns. "You'll both find yourselves shovelling coal into the next century." "Oh, please, there's been no shovelling since the Industrial Revolution." Nazalus looks to Farron, hoping to resume the earlier conversation. "And you know who we have to thank for that." "Yes, yes, the mortals." "As for your concerns, Tucker, no one knows where he's been in years, the old goat. The structure is so fat with middle management these days, I don't think either one of them bother anymore." "I'm afraid it's true," Nazalus agrees. "I don't see either one of you two wankers moving up the ladder, and I'd say that attitude has everything to do with it." "Attitude, schmattitude." Nazalus sits up and glances at the television, then wrinkles his nose at the live kidney transplant on the medical channel. He searches for the remote. "The best thing you can do," Farron says, "is enjoy the time you have so much of, or at least keep your trap shut so we can. All of this duty and obligation bollocks is starting to bring me down." He turns his attention to the television. The picture changes rapidly as Nazalus channel surfs. "Isn't there a rerun of Baywatch on?" "There is no limit to your depth, is there?" Nazalus asks. "The two of you couldn't put a scare into anyone," Tucker roars. "It's shameful." "Oh, nonsense." Nazalus sits up, snapping his wings open. "Of course we could, Tucker, but that isn't the point. What I've been trying to discuss," he says, looking to Farron, "is the essence of evil, genuine evil, the root of it all, if you will." Trying to avoid the comforts of modern living, Tucker struggles to keep his eyes from the beach babes as they frolic in California sand. He has a commitment to tradition, believing the old ways to be the best ways. A day doesn't pass when he doesn't long for yesteryear, but the temptation of shapely lifeguards in living colour is a distraction, especially during the slow times. "Which is why I embrace my duty," Tucker says. "Who could boast to be more evil than the likes of me?" "They could, you ninny. What is more evil than choice?" "I'm not following you, Naz," Tucker admits. Two of his eyes make contact with Nazalus, the third fixed on Pamela Anderson. "We are incapable of good. All of us are. We were created to put things amiss, to strike fear into the hearts of man and beast alike. Nobody is surprised when we sink our teeth into a warm morsel of human flesh or set fire to a daycare." "I never quite feel right about torturing the children," Farron confesses. He reaches for a bowl of popcorn. "I blame CNN for that. The damned bleeding hearts." Anyway, back on topic. Can you imagine the gift of choice, to be good or evil, yet still doing something frightful, he shivers? Now that is just troubling. Tucker pauses for a moment, trying to take it all in. "I never thought of it that way." He finds the edge of an ottoman to sit on. His hulking frame looks awkward on the small square of furniture. "Of course you didn't," Farron adds. "You're as thick as it gets." Jumping to his feet, Tucker snaps his tail at the fat demon, knocking the popcorn out of his hands. "Don't push me!" he yells, all three of his eyes glowing red with anger. "Cheeky, cheeky," Farron says. "Easy with the appendage, mate." "I'm trying to watch the telly." Dozens of rat-like creatures scurry across the floor, savagely attacking each kernel of the spilled snack. Nazalus shakes his head. "Have you ever considered an anger management course?" "I can't believe I listened to you slackers." Leaning back on his tail, Tucker kicks the ottoman across the floor with both feet. His talons leave deep scratch marks on the surface. Smoke pours from his green pointed ears. "Someone is crying out for attention," Farron says. "Pathetic, isn't it?" A red light, bolted securely to one of the rocky walls in the cavern of a room, begins to flash, sending a glowing red line on a circular path through the chamber. "Oh, Tucker, I believe that's for you," Farron says with a sly grin that covers most of his bulbous face. "Fine by me!" Saliva sprays from the hulking demon's mouth. He shakes his head like a dog. Nazalus wipes the spit from his arms. "Say it, don't spray it. Watch your monitors and I'll show you what true evil is." Tucker runs to the dimension door, his muscular legs launching him several feet with each stride. In a thick cloud of smoke, he disappears into the world of humans. The plexiglass door closes slowly behind him on its spring. Finally sealing, it separates the two worlds that grow more similar with each passing day. "And give up Baywatch?" Farron snatches a mist kernel of popcorn from the earthy floor with his darting tongue. "I don't think so."